Hello and welcome to the NIE Virtual Open House 2023, where you'll be hearing about student life in NIE by students from the Teaching Scholars Program and the Sports Science and Management Program. So first, to introduce ourselves, I'm Wei Tian from the Teaching Scholars Program, taking a Bachelor of Science with a double major in Biology and Education and a minor in Chemistry.
And I'm Jitsing, taking a Bachelor of Arts with a double major in Geography and Education, as well as a minor in English.
Hi everyone, I'm Wei Ren, and I'm taking a Bachelor of Science in Sports Science and Management, and I'm taking in the Science specialization.
Hello, my name is Anders, and I'm also studying a Bachelor of Science in Sports Science and Management. I'm specializing in management.
Okay, so for today's panel, here's the agenda. So first of all, we'll be having student life at NIE in general. Next, we'll be sharing about life as a TSP student. Third, we'll be having Anders and Weiren share about life as a SSM student. And fourth, we have our question and answer where you can send us your burning questions to clarify. So first up, we'll share about life at NIE as a student. So first of all, when you first come to NIE, you might find yourself a little bit lost, but don't worry because we have various orientation programs for you where there are lots of activities lined up for you to meet your faculty, your professors, your batchmates, and your seniors. And we hope that these friendships that you build will last throughout the 4 years and beyond. Beyond that, you also get to tour around our beautiful green campus at NIE so that you don't get so lost during your first week of school here. Next, Jising will talk a little bit more about the TSP orientation.
To add on to what Wei Jian has shared, so I personally was the vice chairperson for 2021's freshman orientation. So what you can expect during the freshman orientation is that your seniors will have planned very exciting activities for you to interact with both your seniors as well as your batchmates. So during this orientation program, not only will you interact with students from the TSP program, but also students from the diploma and the postgraduate diploma program, so that you can actually bond and interact with people from all the student teachers in the teaching fraternity.
So likewise, orientation at SSM is also done to welcome all our juniors coming in and to facilitate their transition into a new university undergraduate. So I myself have been chief group leader. Beside me, Weiren has been logistics heads for previous orientations at SSM. And we participated in organizing the entire 3-day camp for our new incoming freshies. At SSM, our orientation mainly revolves around sport and physical activity, as you can see in the video in the slide, with the biggest initiation event coming at the end of the 3-day camp.
So next up, after learning about the orientation that you can experience here, it's also time to share about the plentiful and beautiful study spots in NIE. So there's a saying, at least for myself, we have so many study spots in NIE to a point that you have no excuse not to study in NIE. So here are just some examples on the screen. So on the left side, we have the UID Student Hub. So it's actually a 3-story building designed especially for students to rest, to revise, and just to relax with their friends after a long day at school. So there are art murals designed by students, sofas and nice study tables, just for you to study with your friends or yourself in a well air-conditioned room. In the middle is our NIE library. It's very huge, multi-story as well, and it is a very open and bright green space with large study tables for you to study. So I myself love the NIE library the most because I like a big table to study with. So I don't know about you, but I like to have my laptop, my iPad, my notes, pens, and everything just laid out on the table to help me study better. And NIE library is a very good spot for that. And on the right side, there's actually a new addition to NIE. It's the NIE Canteen Lounge. So what you'll notice is that it looks very clean, very modern, and very colorful. And that's right, it's because it's new, just opened last year for you to eat with your friends or just to revise your work there as well. Okay, so now I'll hand it off to we're going to talk about the sports facilities at NIE.
So for the sports facilities that you have in NIE, there's the gymnasium, the multi-purpose hall, and the hockey pitch. In addition to that, there's also a resistance training room and the cardio room where you can just run on the treadmills and the other equipment that are available there. So for these facilities, you'll have some of your classes there. So you'll get used to it. You'll be able to find them over time. And for booking-wise, you either book it through the online system, through the NIE portal, or through the Sports Facilities Management Office, which is located at Basement 1, nearby to the gymnasium.
Okay, so moving on, I think we have heard a lot about orientation, study sports, and sports facilities, but I think what really matters here in NIE is the people. So in NIE, we have various student-led clubs. In fact, we have 13 of them just right here in NIE for you to take part in. So first up, we have the NIE Student Teachers Club, or NSTC in short. It is the main academic constituent club where they aim to advance the welfare and interests of all NIE students. And under their purview, there are 10 subsidiary clubs with their own interest niche. For example, we have AI in education, which focuses a lot on artificial intelligence and new frontiers in how we can apply AI to the education sector. Beyond that, we also have the 3 language and cultural clubs where they plan year-long activities for you to take part in to understand and appreciate more about the diversity that we have in Singapore. Next, we also have the Service Learning Club where they engage in volunteering activities year-long as well with various partners, local and overseas, to help you build a sense of altruism in NIE. Next, we also have the Teaching Scholars Program for TSP students to take part in, as well as the Sports Science and Management Society for SSM students to take part in. So in the next slide, I'll be showing you some photographs from these various student-led clubs. So at the top of the screen, you'll find SSM students, right, having a good photograph, and you can see how closely bonded they are. And I think it's really through these clubs where you build lots and lots of friendship that will last for many years to come in NIE. In the center and on the right, you'll find a lot of us in the bubble balls. And this is actually an event by the Physical Education and Sports Science Club, or PESS Club, for NIE students as well. If you like to dance, or even just wanted to try dancing, like myself, which I did, we also have dance sessions by Dance Fusion, which is under Club Annex, at the bottom right of the screen. Yeah, so that's one of the weekly dance sessions. So do join us in NIE at the dance club if you want to dance. And on the bottom left, there is our baking workshop, one of the many workshops by the Food and Consumer Sciences Club. So as you can see from these photographs, you can build great friendships and also try out many new things through the various student clubs in NIE.
So moving on to hall life in NTU. So although you'll be spending most of your time in NIE for all your classes, the other half of your time will be spent in hall should you be able to get it through the application process. So in halls, you'll be able to join various CCAs such as football, where you'll be able to participate in inter-hall games. There will also be recreational games available such as chess, when you'll also be able to participate in the inter-hall recreational games. And in the halls, you'll be able to meet other individuals from different faculties and perhaps share similar interests with you, so that when you go out and outside of your student life, you'll be able to interact more with these people and make more friends and memories together.
Okay, so I think you've heard a lot about life as an NIE student. So now we'll talk a little bit more in depth about life as a TSP student by myself and Zhiqing. So if you have just joined us, let us just introduce ourselves again. I'm Wei Jian from the Teaching Scholars Program, taking a Bachelor of Science with a double major in Biology and Education and a minor in Chemistry.
And I'm Jinsing, doing a Bachelor of Arts with a double major in Geography and Education, as well as a minor in English.
So more about the Teaching Scholars Program, when you first join us, you'll notice how small our class sizes are. So depending on your academic subjects, your class sizes usually range between 5 to 20 students. So for myself, where my first major is Biology, we have 10 students in our batch. So you can see on the slide, on the top left, is actually a photograph of me and my classmates in our tutorial room, and at the bottom left is us in the lab. So because of how small the class sizes are, you'll tend to build really strong friendships among your classmates and even with the professors. And because of how small the class sizes are, I think it has really helped to enhance our learning experience here in NIE as a TSP student. So I remember how sometimes in biology classes, there are just different concepts that could be too difficult to grasp at that point in time, and we have lots of questions to clarify. So because of how small the class sizes are, your lecturers and professors can actually adjust the pace of your lessons or to clarify any questions that you may have. So I know in other courses where you have large lecture halls, it might be a little bit difficult for you to raise your hand to ask a question, right? So here in NIE, I think having that small class sizes really help to enhance the overall learning experience. Building on the small class sizes, there is also experiential learning here in NIE. I think in recent years, we've been pushing a lot about experiential learning, and NIE has been pushing for that for the longest time. So in my class, there are many opportunities for you to go around Singapore and even overseas, just to learn more about the real world and how to apply theory to the real world. So as you can see at the top left of the screen, it's actually a picture of me and my classmates at Sungai Buloh Nature Reserve just 1 to 2 years ago to learn about the mud flats, the swamp and the mangrove community. So what better way to learn about them than to go there and experience the plants, the animals, and the mud itself. And beyond that, of course, there are lessons in NIE as well. And on the right side of the screen and the bottom of the screen, you'll see lots and lots of plants. So once again, what better way to learn about plants than to see them and feel them and smell them, right? So our professors are very dedicated. They prepare lots of materials to allow us to experience learning. So in fact, just next month, I'll be going to Bintan to snorkel and learn about the seagrass community with my professor and classmates.
To add on to Wei Jian's sharing, I'll be sharing my own personal experience as a geography student. So as a geography student, we had plenty of fieldwork opportunities, both in physical geog and human geog. So if you look at the slide, actually this was a picture with me and my classmate, as well as my professor, Dr. Chatterjee. We went to Chek Jawa to learn more about the biogeography as well as the biodiversity found in Singapore. So this is just an example of the kind of opportunities that I have received to learn more about geography in the real world. So beyond just physical geography, I also had opportunities to visit unique neighborhoods like Tiong Bahru and Little India with my human geography professors to really learn more about urban concepts as well. So just an additional note, at the end of this year, I'll be going to the Mekong River in Vietnam to actually embark on my final year project. So in geography, in NIE, you get plenty of opportunities to explore fieldwork and experiential learning both locally and globally. So for the art students, you might ask, so what about us? Do we get this kind of experiential learning? The answer is yes. So personally for me, I study English as well. So our professors have arranged sessions for us to interact with Singapore literature authors to really enhance our writing ability and also to gain exposure as well.
Right, so beyond academic-wise, there are also lots of developmental opportunity for you as a TSP students. So nowadays, we're all talking about holistic education. And as a TSP student, you're given numerous opportunities to work with student-led clubs, volunteering opportunities, both locally and overseas, just to allow yourself to build on your both your technical and soft skills. So for example, for myself, on the bottom left, you can see me having an opportunity to moderate as a student a leadership conversation workshop for NTU students. And it is through these opportunities that you get to learn about your strengths and your weaknesses. And sometimes all you need is the experience to build your confidence. And I think all these developmental opportunities that you can get as a TSP student will help you become a well-equipped person for the ever-changing society and a better educator in the future.
So in addition, as a TSP student, you can expect to go on local internships to explore careers beyond just the teaching fraternity. So this happened in year one for me, where I went on a 5-month internship with an organization. So some of the examples of how TSP students can embark on this internship will be, for example, at the Singapore Kindness Movement, where interns at the organization get to plan charity events and be part of the organizing team to gain additional exposure.
Just to clarify, that's I think she meant 5 weeks internship.
Yeah.
Just to clarify, in case you get confused. Right. So I think beyond local internships, where we get to expose ourselves to organizations beyond MOE, I think it's also important for us to hone our skill as an educator to be. So I think a lot of times where we learn education-based theories in NIE, we might have to question then how do we apply them to real-life classroom as an educator? And I think this is where it's one of the best benefit we can get as a TSP student, where we get to go to schools more than once a year even sometimes, just to hone your skills. So I recall how my undergraduate classmates in other courses, they'll be like, oh, why are we learning about this? I don't see the link to real life, but perhaps that's because they lack the connection to their real world careers. But for us, because of this yearly experience, we can build on that confidence. And when we go to classes, it's a different mindset. We know that what we're learning is very relevant to today's classroom and for the future as well. So on the bottom left of the screen, you'll find myself, a picture of me, just this year, last month, at a secondary school teaching lower sec science. So at the start, I recall how when I was in year one, I was a bit less confident to teach in the classroom. But over time, with the experience that we have, the teaching attachments in schools, I became more confident, and I can confidently say right now, I'm a much more confident educator than I was previously, and NIE, as a TSP student, really helped me there. Okay.
So in addition, you can expect to have overseas exposure. So there are two main opportunities that you get to receive as a TSP student, mainly the International Practicum, a 5-week program where you'll get to visit countries of your choice to learn more and actually learn more about other education systems in the world. So what you really do is to really get a global dimension on your perspective in education. So you get to visit countries like Australia, Denmark, Sweden, and many more. So in addition to that, you also get to experience a semester exchange. This usually happens in the first semester of your year 3 journey in NIE. So I personally went on the semester exchange last semester, and I visited the United States in DC. So that was a wonderful experience for me to actually culturally immerse myself in the new environment over there.
Right, so at the next slide, you get to see some photographs of us overseas. So like Jiting, I also went to US, and I think it's a really great experience for us to broaden our horizon about the world. And I think more importantly, it's 5 months where you'll be overseas on your own, and it really allows you to be more independent. And this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that you will not want to miss as a TSP student. So with that, I hope that you have heard a lot from us and will consider to join us in a Teaching Scholars program. Now, we'll be moving on and passing the time to Wei Ren and Anders to talk more about life as an SSM student.
All right. So hi everyone. In case you missed the introduction, I'm Wei Ren, and I'm currently studying a Bachelor of Science in Sports Science and Management, and I'm taking the Science specialization.
And my name is Anders. I'm also studying a Bachelor of Science in Sports Science and Management. I'm specializing in management.
So when you start your Sports Science and Management life, you'll be taking a lot of common courses in year 1 and year 2. So these core courses, each class is about 20 to 30 people, and there will be 3 different tutorial groups that you can participate in. So some examples of these courses include the Health and Wellness, whereby there will be a nutrient density practical, and also Foundations of Exercise Physiology, whereby you'll be able to do a lab. And as you can see in the picture, Anders himself, he was one of the participants who took part in the lab, and the rest of us helped to take his lab readings. So these courses, they will be conducted in the forms of seminars, lectures, or tutorials. And they are more practical in nature, so you'll be able to apply what you learned in class to real-life concepts. So these are some of the examples of the core courses you'll be taking in year 1 and year 2. As you can see, most of them are either introductory or fundamentals. So these will act as your foundations for moving on into year 3 and year 4 once you have specialized into either the management or the science specialization. As for some of the learning experiences that I've had, for individual work, I've done a qualitative analysis of a tennis serve in Introduction to Biomechanics, whereby I compared myself to that of a professional online on YouTube. As for group work, there's the video that we've done on motor control during the Foundations of Motor Behavior, whereby our group members have to pick up a new skill and also conduct the analysis of how we've picked up the new skill, whether it be how we differ our training methods or differing how much time we took during a break. Another group project that we did together was in sport marketing and sponsorship, whereby we have to come up with a business proposal and pitch this business proposal to the professors. So for my group, we created this new company called Aptitude that focused more on strength and conditioning. In addition to these core courses, you also have other learning opportunities, such as the undergraduate research experience on campus, also known as the Eureka program. So in this program, students can actively choose which projects that they want to partake in through an online portal. And through this online portal, they'll be able to pair up with the faculty members and work together with them on their chosen field of research. So some examples of this research will include the use of beetroot juice to lower blood pressure in older adults. So through this Eureka program, you'll be able to pick up valuable research experience as well as experience that can be carried on into your fourth year when you start your final year project. Additionally, there are also semester exchange programs that are available that you can find online. These will be mailed to you through your school email accounts once you have successfully matriculated. So while these countries that I've listed are some of those that are available, there's a longer list that's available. So all you need to do is log on to your emails and look through the list once it's released to you. And from there, you can choose the university of your choice. This will allow you to experience what it's like to study overseas, as the culture overseas is very different from that in Singapore, and you also enhance your learning experiences. So upon the third year, we will choose to specialize either in science specialization or the management specialization. For me, I chose science because I am personally more interested in learning the courses that are offered in the science specialization. Depending on the course that you take once you're in a science specialization, each class is about 15 to 30 students, and there's only one tutorial group for every course. So in the picture, you can see this is one of the few trips that I had in one of the courses to Singapore Sports Institute. From this field trip, we were able to see the laboratory equipment that we've learned in experimental biomechanics being applied to real-life athletes and help them to improve their performance when it comes to competitions. So these are some examples of the science courses that are available. Some of them build up from the knowledge that I've learned in year 1 and year 2, such as the sports coaching courses, and some of them are completely new, such as sports nutrition. As for some of the learning experiences that I've had, currently in sports coaching, we are supposed to come up with a coaching plan, but as of now, because we have not done it yet, I'll just use an example that I did in the foundation course in year 2. So in year 2, during the sports coaching course, we were supposed to come up with a coaching plan for a specific target population. For my group, we had 14 to 16-year-olds as our target population. So in this coaching plan, we decided to focus more on badminton, and more specifically, the footwork aspect of badminton, whereby we did the sideways movement so that they'll be more able to move around, they'll be more agile on the court. So in the picture at the bottom, that's one of our group mates demonstrating to our participants. They are stimulated because at the time it was during COVID, so you couldn't actually find a 14 to 16-year-old to coach on. As for my year 3 learning experiences, for experimental biomechanics, we had to do this lab report, whereby we will employ the equipment that we have learned during our seminars to provide a biomechanical evaluation and give practical recommendations for an athlete. For myself, I worked with one of the Frisbee athletes in my hall so that he'll be better able to perform during the inter-hall games for Frisbee. So for what I did, I put him through some of the tests, such as the Y-balance test, which helps to evaluate the dynamic balance of the individual, as well as a Pro balance test, which also evaluates the dynamic balance, but on a more detailed level, as you can see at the bottom for the center of gravity graph. So this will help me to find out what are his weaknesses, and from there, provide him with the correct recommendations, such as gym exercises or perhaps stretches that can help improve his flexibility. So now I'll be passing my time to Anders, who will be talking more about his management specializations.
Okay, hi guys. So apart from specializing in science, SSM students can also partake in sport management as well. In management classes, we learn different aspects of business management such as marketing and human resource in the fields of sport. So class sizes will be very small, ranging from 10 to a maximum 13 students with one tutorial group for each classes. So in this picture, as you can see, which was just taken last week, was actually a finance class with exchange students from Taiwan. So in management classes, we also get opportunities to tune in to guest lecturers and experts from the relevant industry, as well as have the pleasure to welcome back previous alumni who are more than happy to come back and help us, guide us in our career exploration. So some examples of courses to look forward to in sport management include marketing and sponsorship, media and communication, human resource, business finance, and last but not least, events and retail management. So as a current management student myself, I can safely say that it has definitely brought about enriching experience in my learning during classes and assignments. So in this slide, is an example whereby I applied marketing theories to modify and potentially improve any online printed advertisements that I could find to showcase our understanding and application of skills that we were taught in classes. So these are definitely beneficial because it helps to curate more creativity and innovation in my craft, which will definitely be something that I can bring forward to in my future employments and careers that I explore next time. So likewise, other courses provide us different types but similar learning experiences and expanding our pools of knowledge in the key areas of our industry. So our professors here are very well versed in their expertise, such as my media and communications professor, Mr. Ashley, who is actually also employed in Octagon, a sports communication company. So Mr. Ashley provided us with assignments that required us to dive deep into the different aspects of media and communication, such as doing a mock press conference without any prior knowledge beforehand. In this slide, you can see on the left is actually the online social media advert that featuring me as part of a new transfer into a new football club, which was done up by my awesome group mates. So besides this, we also did the media backdrops for our presentations, and we also sent out invitation emails to journalists who will be present on the actual day of presentation. So courses like this provide us with first-hand experience to the relevant industries, and future management students can definitely look forward to very, very enriching classes in sport management. Okay, so moving on from academic classes, coming into our final year, which is year 4, SSM students will have to undertake an academic research for their respective final year projects, or FYPs in short. Students will be assigned to professors who are able to assist them in their specific fields of interest and complete a research study together. So examples of sports science FYPs include effects of foam rolling and dynamic stretching, as well as impacts of non-leader pedagogy on skill acquisition. Examples of sport management FYPs include studying the impacts of societal issues, such as race and gender in sport, as well as applying and researching the effectiveness of marketing techniques such as the eye tracker technology and its benefits. Lastly, after finishing our FYPs, SSM students will have to complete a 20-week internship program prior to graduation. So these companies can be self-sourced, meaning we can find them ourselves online and apply to them ourselves, or we can just enjoy the pool of choices that are given to us by the school. So organizations such as the National Youth Sports Institute, Singapore Sports Institute, and Lion City Sailors offer internships to sports science students pertaining to roles such as performance and data analytics, sport coaching understudies, and many more. On the other hand, organizations such as Octagon, Creative Artists Agency, Sports Singapore offer internship roles to us management students that pertain to programming and operations, business development, and brand communication. So in this slide, as you can see, I was part of the programming and operations team in Sports Singapore, where we were part of the organizing team in terms of preparing nationwide events like Pesta Sukan 2022, as well as facilitated youth programs in promoting physical activity within children. So to conclude, SSM has provided Weiren and I both the best years of our education lives, and we hope that more people can come forth and join us in this journey together. So please do come join us at Sports Science and Management. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you for sharing. So I think you've heard a lot from myself, Jising, Weiren, and Anders about life as a student in NIE. I think the key message we want to say is that we understand how you feel. We're just there in your shoes a few years ago, and we hope that we have actually shared with you and interest you to life in NIE. I think it's a really top-notch education, and you'll definitely enjoy your time here. So right now, we'll be moving on to our next segment, which is the question and answer segment. So if you have any question for us, do scan the QR code at the bottom right of the screen and post any questions to ask. Okay, so I think I have been looking through the Slido. There are lots of questions here, so we'll try our best to answer them. All right, so the first one, I think it's meant for all of us. Okay, are there any student leadership opportunities in NIE and TSP or TSP? So I can take that first. I think for TSP student, my perspective is that we have lots of opportunities for you to develop your leadership skills. So I've mentioned about the student-led clubs where I took on numerous leadership opportunities in, where I get to lead a team of various sizes, right? Or even a student body of 1,000 over students. But even if you're not confident with that, you can start small. So within our class work, there are group projects that you might want to be a representative in, a group leader, or even within our service learning projects. Maybe you want to be a group leader for 20 over students, and you can start on from there. So I think there are really numerous opportunities for you to explore, regardless of where you are in terms of your confidence level. Yeah. Do you have anything to add?
Okay, so for SSM, leadership positions include orientation, such as like what I mentioned earlier, I was the chief group leader of orientation. Weiren was the logistics head for orientation. So besides orientation, we get to participate in Sports Science Management Society, which is basically our student body. And this includes roles such as the president, the vice president, financial controller, business manager, welfare head, which was what I was doing last year as well, a logistics head and events head as well. So there are various and multiple leadership roles that are out for you to enjoy as SSM students as well in NIE.
Okay, thanks for answering that. Okay, I think on the note of leadership and clubs, maybe it's timely to answer this question, right? I think it's just a simple answer, but we can all share our thoughts. So this question is, how many clubs can I join? Answer is as many as you want. But for myself, I took on about 2 to 3 clubs each year. I think you want to share about your experience?
Maybe I can share for mine. So for me, in year 1, I chose not to join any clubs yet because I wanted to get more acclimatized to what university life would offer me first. Then once I hit year 2, I started to join more clubs. So for me, in year 2, I joined the University Mountaineering Club as well as the Floorball Club for recreational. Then as of now, in year 3, I'm currently the Honorary General Secretary for University Mountaineering Club. But for Floorball Club, because I'm currently injured, so I have temporarily left the club. So for these clubs in NTU, it's not really like a full commitment base. You can choose which club that you want to go to. And from there, the trainings will be completely and entirely on you, whether you want to participate on that day, or for example, on Tuesday or Thursday, or only on Thursday itself.
Okay, thanks for the sharing. All right, so I hope that answered your question. So the next one is for TSP. So maybe Jixin, you can answer this one. What is the curricular workload of a TSP student?
Maybe to break down how our curriculum looks like is that there are 3 main types of modules or courses that you have to take here. So firstly, definitely my first major, which is geography. So you have to take academic courses, followed by education courses because we are eventually going to be teachers in the teaching fraternity. And lastly would be the curriculum courses. So you might ask, what are the 3 different kinds? Generally, in year 1, you start with academic and education courses. So to have a broad view of what exactly education will look like in Singapore and how could you enhance your skills as a teacher. Then moving on to year 2, 3, and 4, you have opportunities to dive deep into your curriculum. So whichever subjects that you will be teaching in the future, to really learn more about the school curriculum itself, as well as teaching strategies and classroom management strategies to really become a better teacher. So beyond just this curriculum, as we mentioned in our sharing, during every single year, we will be able to have opportunities to go to schools to actually co-teach or actually teach a class by ourselves with the guidance of our classroom mentors in the actual secondary schools or primary schools in Singapore. So I think this curriculum really goes hand in hand where you learn the theory, you learn the understanding in NIE, and then you apply your learning when you go to your practicums in schools when we go there for our practicums or assistantships. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, thanks, Jixin. All right, so I think this question is also a little bit similar to what you shared, but I think that I'm asking more for like a day-to-day life kind of thing. So the question is, what is a day-to-day life of a NIE student? So I think we can have the SSM share first.
Where you can go first.
So for the normal day-to-day life, depending on your courses that you took, whether it be for your broadening and deepening electives that are outside NIE or your core courses that are in sports science and management, depending on which tutorial group you take, most of the time you'll either be a 4-day or 5-day work week, whereby you will either start in the morning and you have a break here and there before your next tutorial. So most of the lessons will be in the morning, afternoon. So you can expect your evenings to be quite free, where you can go ahead and do your own things, like for example, going for a run or going back to hall and socializing with some of your friends there.
CCAs.
You take that.
So to add on to what Wei has said, our day-to-day lives mainly revolve going to classes. However, don't be intimidated by like the academic rigor in SSM and TSP, because the student community around the area is very friendly. We are not very competitive, and do expect to have various like bonding activities and free time together with your classmates in maybe spots like the canteen or the student hub, where you can just chill and relax together. And there are definitely times where definitely the academic rigor will be very tough, especially coming towards exams or assignment deadlines. But do enjoy your student life as much as possible and go for as many CCAs as you can as well.
Right, I think like they said, I think as for a TSP student as well, we do have our fair share of classes, labs, learning journeys. But yeah, I think quite importantly is that we also have a lot of free time to explore new areas. I think for myself, I can say I'm more of a science person, but I do try out different types of arts, through the after-school activities. Like in hall, I managed to go for art jamming in NIE as well. And I'm not someone who can really draw, but that's something that I can explore in my own free time. And even dance. I'm not a dancer, but I tried that. Meeting new friends, going out for the dinner nearby at Jurong Point or in North Spine. I think these are things that you can expect to have as well. And it's going to be part of your day-to-day life as an NIE student. Yeah. Anything to add? Okay. So next one, I think it's more directed for TSP. So Jising and I will try to answer this. So what type of internships do you have in the Teaching Scholars Program? So I think first of all, I can say we roughly have two types of internships. The teaching attachment is one kind of internships that you have. So you go to schools to teach every year. Of course, it's a build-up. In year one, you have 1 week in a primary school, 1 week in a secondary school. Then year 2, 5 weeks, year 3, 5 weeks, and then year 4 is a 10-week stint. So it builds you in the teaching fraternity in that sense. But of course, at the end of year 1, we have something called Build, right? So it's actually a program for undergraduate students in TSP to explore explore different organizations, yeah, that's the word, within MOE and outside of MOE. So for myself, I did go to MOE under the guidance branch. So it was quite a different eye-opening experience actually, because I get to see what is behind the scenes in the headquarters that goes along think about what to include in the CCE curriculum and so on and so forth. But beyond that, we do have friends who go around to different organizations. In the photo earlier, you saw Clement at the Singapore Kindness Movement with the Singa Lion. There are also students who go to other organizations, some to the Jane Goodall Institute or to Forest School to work with students, to work with animals. So it's really all sorts of organizations for you to explore, right? And I think that's quite important as a teacher to really explore what's out there. Yeah. Okay, anything?
I think maybe to add on, just for me, I actually attended the 5-week internship at MOE as well, but it was with the curriculum planning department. So even though it was part of a department that was in MOE, I found the experience to be really, really eye-opening, because as a student teacher in NIE, usually you are at the receiving end of the curriculum that has been set by MOE. But when I was doing my internship, you actually get to understand the thought processes of how our school's subjects and curriculum are being planned. So I got the opportunity to actually have my hand at planning lessons as well, and also creating lesson resources. So I think this kind of experience really helps you to have a more all-encompassing idea of how our Singapore education system works. So this type of opportunities can really help you to further think about what exactly it means to be a teacher in Singapore. Yeah.
All right, thanks, Zhixing. So the next question is this: can an NTU student join an NIE club, or are they only for NIE students? So unfortunately, although we have 13 clubs in NIE, they're actually for NIE students, including SSM and TSP. So NTU students cannot join NIE clubs. But don't worry, if you're an NTU student who is not in NIE, there are other clubs in NTU to explore as well. With that said, NIE students can actually join NTU clubs. Yeah. Okay, next one is for SSM students. Okay, there are two questions. I'll ask the first one first. So for SSM, do you need to be good in biology and/or math to be in a program?
Okay, I'll answer this one. Okay, so to clear up the conception that you need to have biology background for SSM, actually no, you don't need to. Personally, I came from an art stream in JC. The last time that I touched biology was probably, I think, almost 10 years ago when I was in secondary 2. So to understand SSM, I understand that there are causes like sport injuries where you need to dive deep into the human body, but definitely you do not need any bio background. It's definitely very understandable, even from a beginner's point of view, because the content lecture and the slides are very, very like, they're very they're streamlined into a way where you can understand it very easily, and definitely they won't dive deep into the very, very like niche components, etc. So it's definitely very understandable from definitely a beginner's point of view from my end. As for math, not really needed as well, if I'm not wrong, right? We don't have any like math related courses.
Science need to use a bit, but it's not really like a very huge part of the sport science aspect. Like some courses will require you to do some calculations. Like for example, in Introduction to Biomechanics, some of the physics inside require certain formulas. So for that, you have to use the math. But fear not, the slides really are quite easy to understand. So I have some friends that have no background in physics or are not really that good at math, but they're still able to keep up with what the professors are teaching us.
Yes, also in sports management, I think if you're talking about business and finance, you definitely need a bit of math, but not to the extent where it's very advanced. Because I mean, trust me, I didn't do very well in math as well. I think in secondary school I dropped my additional math as well. So I'm coping fine. I'm actually doing quite well. So in terms of the fear of having bio backgrounds or math backgrounds to join SSM, you definitely do not need to be afraid of that.
Okay, thanks. Another question for both of you. For SSM, are the classes all theory or practical based? So that's the first one. And second of all, do you need to love sports to be in a program?
You can do the first one, I guess.
So for classes, there will be a mix of theory and practical. So normally there will be like a 1 hour or 2 hour lecture that's allocated during your courses, and then you move on into a tutorial group where you'll be actually able to apply what you have learned from the lectures into your daily lives. As for then, when you head on towards the sports science specialization, like for me currently, I'm taking sports coaching. So for our 3-hour tutorial group, the first hour is dedicated towards learning all the theories, whereby we learn how to be a coach, like what is effective coaching, how can we start to plan around like our athletes. Before the next 2 hours, we actually take what we have learned for the day and put it into a more practical concept. So we will be, in a sense, coaching our fellow classmates in the session itself. So we will be planning and using what we have learned to come up with a full 10 to 20 minute session for our batchmates, and then from there we will conduct it, and then from there our coach that's in charge of the lesson will give us certain feedback, and also our batchmates will also give us the feedback here and there.
So to add on for sports management, I would say it's actually more theoretical than practical, because all our concepts are taught in the academic literature. However, we do have our fair share of practical lessons, such as in marketing, we did use the eye tracker technology. We actually played a game on the PlayStation where it was an F1 game. And we utilized the eye tracker technology in terms of spotting the brands that were in the actual event on the sponsorship banners and stuff like that. So these type of practical experiences can definitely be looked forward to, as well as our finance class. We actually played a simple game of creating a business from scratch, and we had to value our products and our quality at the advertisements at different price points, so that at the end of the day we can see who is the better marketer or entrepreneur in a sense. So moving on, do you also need to love sports to be in the program? I feel it's not needed, because we definitely do have students here and batchmates that are definitely not the most athletic here, and definitely not the most well updated in terms of sports. But just specific to sports management, I feel that if you are kept up to date in terms of the sport news, or you know a bit of like events here and there, it's actually easier for you to grasp the understanding and the academic literature, because profs will always relate back to certain events to apply the theories, and it will definitely be beneficial for you if you can understand these kind of theories.
So adding on to what Anders has said, for the sports science, for the sports science specialization, it will also not be required for like full knowledge in sports, but it will still be good to know a little bit, because most of what you're learning will be applied towards these. So like, for example, sports injuries, most of these injuries occur, like, for example, when you're training or in competitive matches where accidents might happen. So while not required, it will be good to have a little bit of knowledge required in these sports.
Okay, I think we can move on to the next question. Okay, so the question is, I see that there are lots of overseas opportunity in this program. Okay, they didn't mention which one, but it's okay, we try and answer both. Right, so will we need to self-finance these opportunities? Okay, so I think for TSP side, you have semester exchange, international practicum. Sometimes when we have Eureka or other conferences that we might actually attend to present our papers, and they can be both locally or overseas. There are large finances that you might have to pay, but TSP actually want you to go for them. So there are opportunities for you to seek funding from TSP just to attend this program. So don't worry about it. In fact, most of us do go for this overseas program. For SSM side?
To my knowledge, these overseas exchanges are mostly self-funded. So like for your plane tickets and your accommodations overseas, this will be where you will be self-funding. But if you're under certain scholarships, there might be certain clauses inside that indicate like they will be helping you sponsor some part of these overseas exchange programs.
Okay. Yeah, so I think we can move on to the next question. I think we can both share about it. We can all share about it. So how is the community like among the students in maybe SSM and TSP?
Do you want to answer that?
Yes, sure.
Okay. So the community among SSM students is actually very bonded. I would say that especially our year, it's definitely not competitive at all. You might think that grades are very important amongst us students in SSM, but actually Warrior and I often share notes together, often share assignments to help each other, and we have a lot of other friends out there who are willing to do the same for each other as well. In terms of grouping wise, in terms of gathering team members, we're definitely not exclusive. We're very inclusive to everybody. In terms of sports as well and our classes, we are definitely very encouraging towards one another. Like what I said earlier, we can always just find a spot in the canteen and like chill together and everything. So it's definitely very welcoming. It's very pleasant to be around these people here, and I think that arguably is really one of the best places to like chill and study together as well, to form friendships and strive for a better future together.
Yeah, I think likewise in TSB or in NIE, I share very similar experiences. I think as shared during our briefing, just sharing just now, we have quite relatively small class sizes. I think that has played a really, really big part in actually allowing me to get to know every single individual in my own batch. So I think this small batch size has allowed me to really interact with all my friends in my batch more closely. So for example, I think not only the community lies within our own batch, you get to talk to your seniors, seniors, your juniors. So it's really one whole big TSP community where everyone knows each other and tries to help out with each other. Beyond that, I think we also have really good relationship with our professors because we interact with them quite closely. So I think building such good relationships can also really help us to elevate our stress when it comes to assignments or exams. So I think overall, my NIE experience has allowed me to connect with a lot of people from different backgrounds, and I think it's an opportunity that I'm really thankful for. Yeah.
Okay, I think I really thank all of you for being so eager to participate in our question and answer. Unfortunately, it seems like we only have time for one last question. But don't worry, if you have more questions to ask, do continue to keep them going in the Slido. We'll continue to address them via the chat feature. So one last question, I think I quite like this question, so I think we can take turns to answer. Do you have any advice for incoming freshmen? Maybe something you wish you knew before? And how can we make use of our time in NIE? So I think I can start first. I just want to tell you, if you're interested to come. And there's this saying that, pain is temporary, CGPA is forever. It's false, it's not true. Yes, CGPA is forever, but you matter more. And I think when you're a student here, just focus about making friends, enjoying the process of learning. It sounds a bit cliche, but it's true. When you make friends, don't bother so much about the grades. It really does make your university life more enriching and much better.
Yep, I think I can go next. So for me, I think when I was in year one or as an incoming freshman, one general feeling that a lot of people share is that we are very scared, we are very afraid because you don't know what to expect. But I think one thing I wish I knew is that don't be afraid of anything. If you are interested in a certain club, you're interested in your subject or course, just go for it because you never know what kind of opportunities and experiences you might get. And rest assured that in NIE, we have a very helpful and supportive community to really allow us to really try everything that you want. And after all, these 4 years is really a chance for you to learn and expose yourself to every single thing that you wish to do. Yeah.
For me, I think like the best advice I could give is to know yourself. So, especially in terms of time management, because when it comes down to managing your time between, for example, your hall life, like how do you want to socialize, whether you want to go for CCR club activities, and between your academics, this will be where it's very important. But ultimately, at the end of the day, you want to look back at university life and think, okay, at least I have a lot of fun in this period of time, rather than, oh, I regret not going for this and that because I was too focused on my academics. So for me, the most important advice that I like to give out is know how to manage your time and at the same time have fun.
Okay, for me, since everybody has been so serious, let's just end off on a good note and happy note. For me, I think one advice that I would give to incoming freshmen is definitely get a senior to guide you around the campus. NIE is deceivingly small from the outside. It's actually very big inside. So please do get a senior to show you the places of the common areas, definitely, how to get there, different entrances and exits and everything. And yeah, please do join us at NIE. It will definitely be one of the best times you've had.
Yes, we hope to see you at NIE. But unfortunately, this is the end of our panel discussion about student life in NIE. But please do stay tuned for the next session, the TSP info session at 3 p.m. Thank you and hope to see you around in NIE.
Welcome to NTU NIE. Thank you for joining us online. This short deck of slides is intended to share with you important information about our Teaching Scholars program as well as our Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science in double major programs. First and foremost, congratulations on reaching this stage of your education journey. This is a very exciting time for you because for many, you're probably at a crossroads. You're making a big decision about selecting a degree that's going to set you on an exciting path, which will determine what you're going to do and who you're going to be at least for the next decade. If you're seriously considering teaching as a career, then this is the place to be. There are options for you. While most of you may be familiar with the PGDE or Postgraduate Diploma in Education programs, fewer of you would be aware of our BA-BSc double major programs. It's a 4-year direct honours program in which the Teaching Scholars program sits on. So, is the BA-BSc in double major program with TSP a strong program? Is it a better program for teacher preparation? The answers to the two questions are yes and yes. Our BA-BSc in double major program will better prepare you as a teacher to meet the challenges in school. The NTU NIE Teaching Scholars Program, or TSP, is started in 2014 with the intention of attracting outstanding young individuals with a passion and a calling to become professionals in the education service, to be leaders, and to truly make a difference. The TSP is one of NTU's 5 prestigious scholars programs. It is intellectually rigorous and it aims to develop in its students strong leadership skills and a global perspective so that they can make a significant contribution to education. Xiaxun and Roisman were from our first batch of TSP scholars. From the start, both were very clear that our degree program is going to be the one for them. In Xiaxun's words, nowhere else can you be developed to be the best teacher that you can be. And in Roisman's words, not just to be good at physics, but also good at teaching physics. A simple yet important part of our program is to develop you to be teachers who are not only strong in pedagogy, but also strong in content. Both Xiaxun and Roisman knew that when they chose our program. They are doing very well in the education service now. Here is our current batch of TSP scholars. All of them had a choice of going to any of our local universities to pursue their degrees. But they chose NIE because they understood that the program will prepare them best for a career in teaching. We would like to reiterate that while our PGDE is a very strong program for teacher preparation, if you have decided at this stage to become a teacher, then the BA-BSc in double major should be your preferred choice. You've probably heard about the challenges that teachers face in school. And to meet the challenges head-on, our student teachers will have to undergo a very different sort of education. Our vision of the 21st century teacher is one who will be a shaper of character, a creator of knowledge, a facilitator of learning, an architect of learning environments, and a leader of educational change. So why choose NTU NIE? We have 3 good reasons. 1. We are an exciting young university, and NTU is a top-ranking university, and NIE is ranked highly globally as a teacher education institute. We have strong partnerships with well-known universities across the globe. These partnerships open up opportunities for various kinds of collaborations like visiting professorships and research, and for undergraduates like yourselves, a chance to go for semester exchange and international practicum. One of the misconceptions about NIE is that we are only strong in education. While we have an excellent team who are very strong in imparting the best pedagogical practices, We also have an excellent team of content experts. Here are some examples of faculty who have excelled in the areas of research, from linguistics to chemistry to history to plasma physics to order structures, topology, and real analysis. These are just a few examples. While we have many research projects that explore teaching and learning, few people are aware that we also conduct very innovative research in content areas as well. This is an example of Professor Shi's plasma space actuation chamber. His research in plasma physics is cutting edge. The second photograph is a write-up of two experiential labs that we have set up. One is the Historian's Lab, and the other, the Sustainability Learning Lab. Reason 2, more than a degree. The degree that we are offering is not a Bachelor of Education degree. We are offering a Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science in double major. That means that you'll major in a content area such as physics or mathematics or literature, and your second major is education. If you're inclined in another area of study and strategic with your course selection, you could also graduate with a minor. Ours is a direct honors program with your first major in a subject discipline and your second major in education. You have options of deepening and broadening with electives, and also a chance to read master's level courses. All of you will be involved in a final year research project in your content areas. Xiaxin, whom you saw in an earlier slide, graduated from our Bachelor of Science Education program in 2018 with highest distinction. He went on to Imperial College London to pursue a master's degree in a content area, which was applied biosciences. Through the years, we have had other graduates from our program who went on to prestigious universities like Cambridge, University College London, University of Edinburgh to pursue master's degrees in various content areas. The fact that they were accepted to study their masters in a content area, not education, speaks volumes of the rigor of our BA-BSc programs. Reason 3, an educational experience to remember. Our program will provide you with a wealth of rich experiences. Global lessons, semester exchange, international teaching practice, and international conferences are all sponsored. Real-world learning, Building University Interns for Leadership Development, or our BUILD program, is an initiative that attaches TSP student teachers to an industry that's not necessarily education related. The attachment is between 5 to 8 weeks, and you'll get an insider look and experience how an organization functions. Community engagement is a very important aspect of our program. Group endeavors in service learning is done in Singapore, and service and leadership training, or our SALT program, is done in Vietnam, Cambodia, or Bhutan. We want our student teachers to engage with different communities locally and internationally, and to give back to society, but also to develop various soft skills from these experiential projects. Finally, residential experience. Accommodation on campus is sponsored, and when you're staying in the halls, there are ample opportunities for you to participate in a variety of residential experiences. Global lessons. We are the only institution that offers this international teaching practice experience. At the moment, we have 19 partner universities spread across 4 continents. 8 in Asia, 1 in Australia, 1 in New Zealand, 7 in Europe, and 2 in North America. You will have an opportunity to be attached to a school in one of these countries for 5 weeks, learning the ropes from experienced teachers and interacting with their students. These are pictures of our student teachers taken from the international teaching practice experiences. All of them have come back enriched and energized from the many insights they have gained from being in a completely different context. As mentioned earlier, BUILD is a 5 to 8 week industrial attachment program taking our scholars beyond the classrooms. The aim is to broaden your experience of real-world situations, help you acquire leadership insights, gain an understanding of organizational processes and challenges, and to cultivate social and life skills. SALT is our key overseas service and leadership program. Our student teachers get to go to places like Vietnam, Cambodia, and Bhutan. While engaging with the community overseas, they will get to develop their characters, cultivate positive values and life skills, deepen their sense of service, acquire leadership insights, and gain an understanding of the culture and the education system. Residential experience. You will have sponsorship for 4 years. Crescent and Pioneer Halls are reserved for the first year, and you'll be interacting with scholars from all the other scholars programs. So get the best education you can to be the best educator that you can be. Come and join us as a TSP scholar in our BA-BSc in double major program. Thank you very much for your kind attention. To reach us, please email us at this email address and follow us on the various social media platforms.
Good afternoon. Welcome to NTU Virtual Open House 2023, and a warm welcome to NTU's National Institute of Education for this live chat session on its Teaching Scholars Programme. My name's Stephen Burns. I'm the Acting Associate Dean for Programme and Student Development, and joining me this afternoon is my colleague, Dr. Teo Yong Chua, who is the Acting Assistant Dean for the BA-BSc Double Major Programme. You've just had the opportunity to watch our presentation on our Teaching Scholars Programme and the BA or Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science double major programme that those students matriculate onto. What we'll be doing for the remainder of this session is answering your questions that you may have about the Teaching Scholars Programme or the double major programme. So please, I would encourage you to post your questions in the live chat. You can see the QR code at the bottom of the screen. Please log in and just type your question into the Slido, and we will do our best to answer it over the next 35 minutes or so. We've had some questions which are coming in already, so we'll dive straight into it. The first question that we've had is whether NTU NIE look at academic results in order to matriculate onto the programme, or whether interest also plays a part. Well, definitely both of these play a part in your matriculation onto the double major programme. What we're interested in is that, or what we need, are teachers that have both the aptitude for the subject that they're studying and also the passion at the same time. And when you combine both of these, hopefully we have an individual who will do very well on the programme over the 4-year period that they're into. It's really important that you have that passion for the programme that you're taking, because you will be teaching that program once you enter into schools and delivering it to the next generation of Singaporeans. And it's really important because teachers are the foundation of nation building. Dr. Teo, would you like to take the next question?
All right, I'll take the next questions. Are there any opportunities for overseas exposure? As this mentioned in the presentation, one of the main purpose of the TST program is to produce graduates with intellectual rigor, strong leadership, and a global perspective. So in this context, there are many opportunities for you to learn in an overseas setting. So as a TSP student, we strongly encourage the student to sign up for the International Teaching Practicum. So practicum is a very important part of teacher preparation because this is the period where you can see teaching in action, try out different pedagogical skills to suit the learning needs of the students. At the same time, see the theory to practice link. So in year 2, you are supposed to attend a 5-week teaching assistantship. So this is where you can sign up for the International Teaching Practicum. So during this thing, you get to spend a period of time in an overseas education system. Okay, same thing there, you have the opportunity to interact and engage the teachers and the students, to try out different teaching techniques, prepare some resource, at the same time be mentored by the teacher over there. So the important thing about going for international exchange is that through the experience, you have the opportunity to see how the education system in overseas differ from ours and weave into your teaching practice, at the same time enhance the learning environment of our local students. So this another overseas exposure will be the semester exchange, and this is the program where my students are very excited and enthusiastic about, because for this attachment, you are required to map your academic plan. That means those courses that are offered in NIE with those courses in an overseas university of your choice. So once approval has been given, you can spend the entire semester at that overseas university to complete the courses, at the same time earn academic units. So what's the advantage of going for semester exchange? First thing, you are able to experience the learning in an overseas setting. Second, you can pick up a new language, at the same time foster meaningful relationship across the world. All right?
Another question that's come in is, can I get a degree first before joining NIE? Absolutely. There's a couple of routes that NIE has to allow individuals to train to be teachers. The one that we've been talking about is the double major program, where individuals get 4 years training here at NIE in both a content area of their choice and in education as well. During that 4 years, we provide a very solid program, and it's a very packed program and a challenging program as well. For some individuals, however, may not be ready to commit directly into teaching, and therefore they can take another route into teaching is to take a degree at another university or at NTU. The other university can be local or overseas. And then you come back and you apply to enter NIE's Postgraduate Diploma in Education, or PGDE for short. The PGDE program here is about 16 months in length, and it does offer another route into teaching. However, one thing that I would say is that you certainly can't get the same experience, or we can't provide the same experience for you in 16 months as we can in 4 months. And the great thing about the double major program is the wealth of experiences that you can undertake. And you've just heard some about overseas travel, for example.
Just to add on Dr. Burns' point, one of the distinct features between the PGD and the double major program is a number of practical experience that you are entitled to. So for the PGD students, you only need to undergo 2 practicum stints for your practicum, whereas for TSP student, you need to undergo a total of 4 practicum experience. First year will be a 2-week school experience. Second year will be the 5 weeks teaching assistantship where you can go for exchange. The third and the fourth year will be the TP1 and TP2, and that is the 2 periods where you will learn to teach independently, prepare your own resource, manage your class. Of course, throughout these 4 years, you'll be mentored by a cooperating teacher and also the NIE supervisor. So this is the main distinct difference between the PhD and the double major program, and we feel that this is a more preferred pathway for teacher preparation.
Absolutely, absolutely. Another question that's come in is, do I get to choose the track that I will be teaching? You can indicate the track that you would prefer for your content-based major. Obviously, as I said at the start, what's really important is that you have the aptitude to be able to be successful in that track. So the 2 qualities that we're really looking for in individuals are the aptitude and the passion as well. So if you have that aptitude, then do put that track down, that content-based track down that you are most interested in. And you can visit our website and look at the full list of different content areas that we have under both the Bachelor of Arts and the Bachelor of Science. But some examples for now are things such as mathematics and computational thinking, physics and energy studies, and chemistry and biology, for example, under the science track. Under the Bachelor of Arts, we have examples such as art, geography, history, English language and linguistics. So do please take a look at our website and find out more there.
All right. There's one question that asks, how many minors can I do? So the double major program comes with a minor. So just to re-emphasize on that point, so for the secondary track, you need to choose 2 academic disciplines. So you can choose chemistry as the first academic discipline, which will be your major one. Major 2 will be your education, and the minor will be the second academic discipline that you're going to choose. So it can be a science or arts subject. So as let's say if I select history, then I will graduate with a double major program, chemistry and education, with a minor in history. So on top of that, if you are up to the challenge, you can also sign up for a second minor. So some of the minors that are offered over at NTU, like early childhood, special education needs, sports science, music, etc. So it's possible to do a second minor on top of the double major program with a minor degree.
We've had another question in about research on the program, and do I need to do research as a teaching scholar? Absolutely. In the 4 years that you're here on our double major program, we will give you a variety of research exposures. So, for example, all students do a piece of research in educational research for their second major, and they also do a piece of research in their first major, their content area as well. In addition, students may have the opportunity to undertake what's called the Undergraduate Research Experience on Campus, or Eureka for short, during the 4 years that they're here. And in that Eureka experience, they can undertake another piece of research with a university professor, either in NIE or even outside of NIE in the rest of NTU. It's really important or valuable to undertake these research experiences. Do remember that people who graduate from the TSB program and the double major are going to be the next generation of school leaders, and you are going to be leading educational change. And that's part of the reason that we give you these research experiences, so you can identify how to better improve the education system once you leave.
Okay, the next question. NIE degree admission comes with teaching bond. Okay, currently the TSP program comes hand in hand with the MOE scholarship or MOE teaching award. So you need to be a MOE teaching scholar or a MOE teaching awardee in order to join the TSP program. Then this will lead you to the double major program. So in terms of application, you need to apply at the NTU website and also at the MOE website. So MOE, there's a selection for you. There's a written assignment, a short presentation, and also a discussion with panel. So once you're accepted for the MOE scholarship, then you'll be automatically be placed on the TSP program.
We have a question here. What qualities or skills are you looking for in students and applicants? As I think I've already said, we're looking for individuals that have a strong aptitude in their content-based area, as well as a passion to be able to deliver it. And when you have both of these two mixed together, hopefully it will give you a strong purpose once you head out into schools. It's very important that you exhibit both of these. Certainly when you're getting into the program, you apply through NIE, but you'll also go through a series of interviews at MOE. And what we're looking for collectively is that you display this passion and interest in your content area, because we want you to be able to deliver it to students in school.
Okay, just to add, Besides these qualities, we are also looking for individuals who are critical learners and also reflective in terms of their teaching, because teaching is really every day is a different environment. So you really need to reflect on the teaching so that you can improve and ensure that the content is delivered to the student in the most effective way. So I think it's important to reflect on your teaching. And also, I think one of the most important aspect is that you enjoy working with young adults, educate them, and also mold the younger generation. So there's a passion for you to teach and interact with the young generation. I think that's also a very important quality that we look at for teacher preparation.
We've had a question come in about, would a degree in a field such as psychology aid me in my career as a teacher, or is it unnecessary? Certainly when you do some of our education studies here at NIE, we do cover things like psychology for teaching. So it certainly may aid you at some point. If you've done a first degree in another area, however, typically what you do is you apply for the postgraduate diploma in education that I talked about first of all, rather than go into the BA, BSc double major program. So if you've got a first degree in another subject, then please look at what you're interested in teaching for the future and then apply via that route.
Okay, we got one question asking, is it possible to teach two subjects of different discipline, languages, humanities, and science subjects? Yes, I think mentioned by Dr. Burns is possible, but the degree conferred to you will depend on your major one. So you can have a double major program, chemistry and education, with your minor in history. In that case, your degree will be a BSc degree. Conversely, if you are majoring in arts, you will be given a BA in double major program, arts, with a minor in the science subject, let's say chemistry. So the degree that is tied to you will depend on your first major.
We have another question here about grades to get into the TSB program. Obviously, yes, it is very competitive to get into the program. The program is very strong. It is one of the 4 University Scholars programs offered here by NTU. So it's one of the 4 premier scholar programs. It is challenging to enter into the program. We can give you some indicative grades from last year, if you allow me to look them up. In relation to A-levels, for example, to get into the Bachelor of Arts, the 10th percentile grades were B, C, C/C, and to get into the Bachelor of Science, the grades were AA, C/B. However, these grades do go up and down on an annual basis, so they will not necessarily be repeated this year.
Okay, I got one more question coming. Can I choose computing as a teaching subject? Will there be plans to expand computing teachers intake? So currently, we don't have any academic discipline on computing. As mentioned, for the BA, we have history, geography, English language and English literature. Some other aspect will be Chinese studies, Malay studies, Tamil studies. And for the BSc, we have biology, chemistry, physics, and energy studies, together with sports science and even mathematics and computational teaching. So at the moment, we do not have any academic discipline that is related to computing.
Another question that's come in is about the content that they learn under the double major program, and whether it's similar to that in other universities elsewhere. I can assure you that the content is similar. It is a double major, so your first major is similar in the scope of content that it would be in a degree that you might take in the rest of NTU or at another local or international university. So the content that we set is meant to be challenging, and it is meant to develop you in your content-based subject. So we're developing expertise in that first major. But what we have here, in addition, is the expertise developed as well in the second major, the education major. So we're training you in the content, and we're training you to be able to deliver that content in classrooms once you leave NIE and enter schools.
There's this question that heard from career fairs that for JC teaching, NIE only take in limited subject teachers now, like JC math teachers. They don't take in as of now due to too many JC math teachers. All right, for the JC track, you have to go in via the PGDE route. For the BABSC group route, we are only training teachers for the primary and secondary level. So in this case, for JC level teaching, you need to go in via the PGDE route. And whether the course, the discipline is offered to you would depend on the needs of the teaching fraternity as decided by the MOE.
Question that's come in is, what is the average student intake every year? It is a niche program because it is a Premier Scholars program. So it is difficult to get onto the program, but it's fantastically worthwhile once you're in. Because we take a small cohort every year, typically between about 50 to 70 students, what that means is that the classes that you undertake in both your content and education studies are often small, maybe 10 to 15 students. The great advantage of this, of course, is that you get to know your professors and other lecturers really well during the 4 years that you're here. And that one-on-one basis for exchange that you undertake with them means that your learning can progress to a high level. So we deliver small classes with strong content, and you get to make good friends with your professors. So we have a nice, tight community. The other good thing is, of course, about the small intake is that you get to know the other people on the program as well. So what's great about the scholarship is that you are entitled to a hall place over the entire 4 years that you're here, and you share those halls with other TSB students, particularly in year one. So the community of TSB students is very tight, and there is a great feel to it, and they participate in lots of activities together, both in NIE, within clubs, within societies, and within their halls. So something to look forward to if you join the program.
And just to add on that, residential accommodation on campus is sponsored and guaranteed throughout the 4 years as when you register during the first year of each academic years. Okay, another question here is, can I take NTU courses if I am a NIE student? Definitely yes. This is part of our aspect to broaden and deepen your learning journey. So as a TSB student, you can always sign up for the unrestricted elective that are offered by NTU, NIE, or an overseas university. So yes, it's possible to take NTU courses if you are an NIE student.
Some people are asking about how to get accepted into the program. There are several gates that you need to jump through, if you like, in order to be accepted onto the program. To find out more about the actual application, please visit our website. You need to make an application into the university itself, and there will also be an application to the Ministry of Education. So to find out details about those applications, visit our website here at NIE, see the double major program, and you can find out more information there about the exact procedures to enter into the Teaching Scholars program.
Is there any prerequisite for entering this program? So I would say that candidates with good A levels, polytechnic, and IB, students with high grades, NUS high school, and other equivalent qualifications are encouraged to apply. Selection will be based on scholastic aptitude and an interview process. So just apply.
Some people are interested in the length of the bond that comes with a teaching scholarship program and whether there is one. Yes, there is. When you matriculate into the program, there will be essentially an 8-year bond, the 4 years of the program itself, and then the 4 years after you graduate. So once you finish the Teaching Scholars program, you will be bonded for another 4 years to teach in schools once you've completed. We also have a question here about whether all students in NTU NIE are in the Teaching Scholars Programme. No, not everyone who is in NIE is in the Teaching Scholars Programme. As I explained, we have students here which do this double major programme. So those will be the Teaching Scholars, and there's about 50 to 70 of them at undergraduate level. We also have students who have done their first degree elsewhere and come in to do the postgraduate diploma in education. We have some individuals studying diplomas in various areas of teaching as well, things such as special education, for example, and also some specialist subjects in mainstream schools. And then, in addition, NIE also offers the Sport Science and Management Programme. And if you're interested in that programme, please go to that website. NIE also offers postgraduate education as well. So the campus itself is very vibrant. You'll find students here from across the host of different programmes. And if you come here, you'll find that there's a lot to do and a lot of great people to meet.
All right, just to add on to the postgraduate studies, even as a TSP student, you can broaden your learning by signing up for master level courses. If you meet certain requirements, so when you attend class, you have the chance to interact with the postgraduate students, exchange ideas with them, and have a taste of how it feels like to be a postgraduate student. And if you eventually, after you serve your bond or you wanted to do a master in NIE, some of the courses that you attain credit during your TSP double major program can be used for exemption if they are relevant. Yeah.
Someone wants to know if they can take NTU courses if they're an NIE student. Yes, you can. There are some things within NIE called general electives, and within those electives you have the opportunity, for example, to take some NTU courses that are of interest to you. One of the things that we're also introducing on the double major program is for our students to take at least one of the courses from the interdisciplinary collaborative core, which is offered by NTU. So that course will be open to the students, and in that class under the ICC, you will be mixing with students from across NTU. So the class itself won't all be TSB students, so it will be a great opportunity to get to know your fellow students from across the university.
Okay, I have one question here. Which discipline is the most in demand? I would say that it depends on the needs of the teaching community as decided by MOE, but I personally feel that go with your passion, because you need 4 years to complete the double major program. It's not going to be a stroll in the park. So I think the passion will help you to complete the course. So sign up for the major discipline that you have a passion in. Yep.
I think someone's asking whether or not the major that they sign up for, can they major in both science and humanities? The answer to that is unfortunately no. You choose either the Bachelor of Arts program or the Bachelor of Science program. As I mentioned earlier, there are a range of different content subjects under each of those programs. Please take a look in the website, but you cannot major in both. However, it is possible that you can do your first major in a science-based subject, for example, and then your minor in a humanities type subject. So you have the opportunity in your second subject to potentially mix between humanities and science, or vice versa.
Yeah, maybe I also would like to highlight that besides preparing you for a career in education, we would also like to expose you to real life working experience. So we have the Build program. So during this program, you will be attached to a local industry, whereby you can streamline some of the organization process, helps to craft out learning journey. And some of students have done attachment to the National Heritage Board, Health Promotion Board, MOE, NIE, and even the zoo, where they really craft out and run the learning journey. And a good thing about going for Build, really it will help you to strengthen your leadership insight, which is a very important attribute in the teaching fraternity, and also help you to cultivate both social and working skills as you work in a team environment, which is also a very important attributes as a teacher.
Yeah, absolutely. I think another great opportunity that we have on the double major program are the service learning opportunities. Whilst you're here over the 4 years, you get to do service learning opportunities both locally under our group endeavours in service learning, where you'll be working with a group of teachers from within your community to undertake a local service learning project. And there are also overseas service learning. So, for example, at the end of your first year, you get to undertake the service and leadership training course, which is essentially a program which is held overseas. Typically, we've been going to places such as Vietnam and Cambodia and conducting community-based projects in those countries. So, again, fantastic opportunities to serve the community and to get to know the local and international community a bit better, and something that will serve you well once you enter the schools.
What is the procedure like to be accepted into TSP? As I've mentioned briefly, the TSP program is tied together with the MOE scholarship. So you need to apply at the NTU website and also at the MOE career website. So you can visit the website for more information. So you need to go through the selection process and be awarded the MOE scholarship or the MOE teaching award. Thereafter, you'll be automatically placed on the TSP program, which will eventually lead you to the double major program with a minor.
We have a question about whether Polytechnic students can apply for the Teaching Scholars Programme. The answer is yes. But again, just like A-level students, you need to demonstrate that aptitude and that passion to get into the programme in the first place. I think one of the questions that's come in that's slightly on the periphery is, if I want to teach in special needs schools, are there such programmes in NIE? Yes, NIE does offer a diploma in special education, as I said before, so we do have that opportunity. But within the double major programme itself, what you'll find is that across the different academic groups, there are a number of different content-based subjects which deal with special education to some extent. So when you come to NIE, you will probably be exposed to that at some point as well.
And also we have a minor offered for the special education needs, which is a second minor if you are keen to explore the option. We have been talking more on the secondary track students. How about the primary track students? What minors are they given? So for primary track students, you are only required to choose one major, one which is your academic discipline, for example, chemistry. Major 2 will be your education. So for all the BA, BSc program, your minor will be your primary level subjects. However, in the case of mother tongue, it will be different. If you are majoring in Tamil studies, your minor will be Tamil literature and CCE. If you are majoring in Chinese studies and Malay studies, your minor will be in Chinese and Malay literature respectively. It's no longer the primary level subjects. So these are the difference between mother tongue specialization and the BA, BSc program.
Students interested in exchange, which is great because we have lots of opportunities for exchange here at NIE while you're doing the double major program. How do overseas exchange and global programs work? Do students need to apply separately for exchange, or is it embedded into the curriculum? It's a bit of both. So, for example, at the end of your first year at NIE, you have the opportunity to apply for the service and leadership training, which is within NIE itself. International practicum can be applied for in the second year in lieu of a local teaching attachment. So each time these opportunities come up, you simply have to express your interest and we can direct them to you. If you're interested in a longer exchange of a whole semester, what you can do is to apply to the NTU Global Mobility area. And then what you can do is when you look for global exchange, you apply yourself and then you spend one whole semester overseas. So that can also be for a shorter period of time because there are shorter periods such as winter exchange and summer exchange as well. So lots of opportunities to go overseas whilst you're at NIE and NTU selectively. But nonetheless, each of those exchange programs has easy processes in place for you to apply.
All right. One of the questions is hall stay compulsory for over the 4 years? As I mentioned, residential accommodation is sponsored by the MOE Scholarship and the MOE Teaching Award. It's not compulsory, but we strongly encourage you to do so because there are many activities for you to participate in, so you can build very strong friendship at the same time enrich your residential experience.
A question that's just dropped into the chat. If I am enrolled into the double major program, do I have a heavier workload than a single major program in other universities? The answer is yes. It is a double major, so you are fulfilling what we call academic units both in the first major, and you have to fulfill a similar number of academic units for the second major as well. But nonetheless, this is a Premier Scholars program here at the university, and people that come into the program want to challenge themselves academically. Certainly, we don't promise that it will not be a busy 4 years. It will definitely be busy. It will definitely be challenging. But what you will find is that at the end of the 4 years, it is very worthwhile. You graduate with that double major. You have your minor as well in your second subject. And what you would have had is fantastic exposure and experiences over the 4 years. So please look at the website, find out more about the content themselves for each of the different majors, and apply for the one that you're interested in, because I guarantee if teaching is something that you're passionate about, this program that we have is one that you will want to enroll in.
All right. All right, there's a question that advise to do whether PGD or the TSP double major program. As mentioned before, for PGD program, you need to get a degree, which is about 4 years depending on the university you are enrolled in. Thereafter, you come over to PGD for a 16-month training. So all in all, it's about 5.5 years. Whereas the TSP double major program is a direct 4 years honors program. And one unique feature about the TSP program is that during the 4 years, you are able to learn both content and education knowledge at the same time, simultaneously. So in this aspect, you are able to weave in some of the relevant content knowledge into all your education courses. And this really is a very good way to learn education and prepare you to be an educator for the MOE schools. Whereas for PGD, you will need to equip yourself with content. Thereafter, you come over for the PGD program, and sometimes some of the students, when they come in for the secondary track, they need to choose a second minor, and content might not be sufficient because over the years the content will evolve and they will change. And some of the PGD students, they come back, they need to do content upgrading. But for the TSP program, really, our minor, you need to take 4 courses in the year 1 and really prepare you for all your major, minor, and your education teaching. So that's the main difference between the PGD and double major. And also I mentioned about the practical experience that you will obtain for TSP is really 4 times, whereas for the PGD is only 2 stints.
We're nearing the end of this live chat session. I'll take the final question about the application process for NIE because it's a good place to finish off. So, as I think I mentioned it just briefly earlier, there are various stages to the application process. If you are interested in applying for NIE's double major program and TSP scholarship, then please apply. Have a look at our website, look through the application procedures. The closing date will be over the next month. Make sure you put your application in. You will also have to go through a second application stage with the Ministry of Education, and eventually you may be called up for an interview and have to undertake various interview processes. I think that's a wonderful place to finish today. I think we've had a great sharing session. Thank you to all of you that posted your questions in the chat. I hope that this live chat session has been informative for you. If you want to know more questions or you have more questions, we will try to answer everything that's in the live chat, and we have individuals working on the back end to do that. Alternatively, if you feel that a question comes up over the next few weeks, please send us an email to scholars@nie.edu.sg. And finally, I should say in 2 weeks' time, we have our NTU Physical Open House 2023 on campus. You can come down then. Please come along, either yourself, you can bring your family with you if you like, and you can find out more about both the Teaching Scholars Programme and the double major programme at the booths that we will have open on that day. So please look again at the NTU website and see about the Physical Open House. Thanks for joining us today. It's been a wonderful session, and we hopefully look forward to seeing some of you at NIE in the near future. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.